Welcome back to Ideas at Work and Beyond. I found that lady and her daughter just fascinating. But now, from the sublime, from the positive, from the upbeat, to brass knuckles politics, we have with us Terry Tierney. Now, is it okay for me to say that we first met in a bar? Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
No problem.
No problem at all, because if you want to meet Terry, that's a good place to meet him. I'm just kidding. That's not true. Terry is running a Democratic primary against some other fella, I forget his name, but he doesn't return phone calls.
Dwayne Perkins.
Dwayne Perkins, never heard of him. We want Terry Tierney to get elected. Terry, the thing I appreciate about you a lot is that you've run a business, you've had to meet a payroll, and if you could, maybe for some people, this is the first time they've had a chance to get to know you, just give me 30 seconds on who you are and why the heck you're running for state senate.
Well, thanks for having me here first, Marty.
I'm delighted to have you. Glad you came.
I was born and raised in Danbury, went through the Danbury school system, and I've been pretty much self-employed my whole life. Over the years, I've had quite a bit of success. At one point, I think I was probably one of the top 2 or 3 largest builders in the state of Connecticut.
Okay.
Doing gross products close to $50 million a year.
Wow.
I was
$50 million a year in building.
Sales and construction.
Wow.
And you know, it was my responsibility to make sure everything worked out.
Yeah.
You know, it isn't like you're spending the public's money, you're handling your own money. Yeah. And you have, you know, several hundred people working for you, and you had to make sure that, you know, that their jobs were there.
Yeah.
And, you know,
that the money was in the bank for payroll every
week, you know,
yeah.
And it was a lot of responsibility. But, you know, but what I learned in business, I'm trying to take to the Senate. It's like the position is custom made for me. It's, you know, prioritizing, it's making decisions and making sure that, you know, that the people in this area are going to get a fair shake. And, you know, that's why I'm running. It's a point in my life where I've done everything, you know, that I wanted to accomplish, and I had to stand back and see what's left for me. What do I really want to do in my life? And, you know, I want to help the people of Danbury, the 24th district, the people from Sherman, the people from the Fairfield, Bethel, and Danbury. So, you know, I threw my hat in.
Well, I appreciate it. You know, that's what we need. We need citizens that know what it means to make a buck, that know what it means to have to meet a payroll, that know what it means to have to deal with pinheaded bureaucrats from Hartford that are trying to stifle the growth of businesses in this state, and know what it is when these regulations come on that don't really, you know, help anybody except stifle business. That's why I'm behind you. I'm a Republican. I wish you were one of us. But what are you going to do? But we're also joined by Al Robinson. You know Al.
I know Al.
He was in the bar too. So
yes,
yeah, that's where you met Al.
That was me?
That was Al.
Oh boy.
But I was campaigning.
You were campaigning. You had a reason. Al and I
we weren't campaigning.
We were sitting there, you know, well, it's another story for another show.
Long story.
But Al has Hat City Blogs, which puts fear in the heart of, you know, Republicans and Democrats alike. But Al, you have some thoughts for the
Yeah, let's talk a little bit. We're always hearing about Bethel, we're always hearing about Danbury, but tell me about the concerns of the people in the other areas that make up the district, and tell me what you would do if elected.
You know, that's interesting, you know, because when I first started and I wanted to explore some of the other towns, in Fairfield and Sherman, and of course I know the towns, but I went and I talked to the first selectman in both towns, and, you know, I found out that the issues aren't any different in Bethel, Danbury, Fairfield, or Sherman.
And what are you hearing?
They all have the same concerns. They're worried about the economy. They're worried about their jobs. They're worried about the price of energy. Yeah. They're worried if they're going to have oil to heat their homes this winter. It's the same problems no matter where you go. I thought, you know, I had to serve lobster in Sherman, and you know, maybe roast beef in Bethel, and, you know, I thought it was going to be a different menu, but it's the same menu, it's the same concerns. The only thing that may be a little bit unique is that Sherman is a small town. They get their monies in a state pool that's supplied. Their grant money and special interest money is in a small pool from the state of Connecticut. And they changed the regulations for that, and they let larger cities in, and now Sherman is having a problem getting, you know, their own share. So, you know, that's something I like to work for the people of Sherman, is at least that that the money's there, you know, that they had been getting and had been expecting. I like to make sure that gets restored for them. And of course, Fairfield has the same problems. They're having problems with that senior center. I've attended some of their meetings, and I offered myself to help in any way because I hate to see them lose their grant, and I hate to see the seniors in the Fairfield lose out on that. But I'll be there to support them for that.
Excellent. Let me just mention the phone number here is 792-4101. 792-4101. So if you have a question for the candidate, please call in. Caller, you're on the air.
Good evening, Marty.
Hello. How are you?
Fine. Good evening, Mr. Tierney.
Do you have a question, or are you just here to give us salutations and greetings?
Well, no.
Well, let's get to the point. Come on. We have a busy audience and have places to go.
Well, Terry, you pride yourself on being more knowledgeable of Danbury and the 24th District in general, correct?
Yeah, I would think so.
Could be a trick question. Careful. These callers are cunning.
Oh,
Go ahead.
boy.
Can you tell us how many House districts this 24th District encompasses and who the state representatives are in those districts?
Ouch, that's tough. I remember when George Bush was running, and they said, who's the Prime Minister of Wabahabi or something like that. Are you up for answering this guy?
I don't know the answer.
You don't know the answer. All right, do you have
Yeah,
any
that's
other
another
tough
answer.
questions, caller?
I guess, yeah,
Caller,
I
are
think
you
that's
there?
it.
I guess
All right.
he's made his point. Phone number again, 792-4101. Please call in with your questions. Al.
One of my big concerns, and I think it's going to be a big concern coming up in November elections, is energy. Price of gasoline. Marty always talking about the whole milkshake thing. It's got the caribou graphic.
Milkshake, caribou. That's all you need to know.
Let's get off of gasoline. Let's talk about heating oil and the problems that seniors are going to face with the high energy costs. What would you do if elected to state senate to help alleviate some of the stress that's going to happen, that's bound to happen this upcoming winter season?
Well, we're certainly going to have to set aside more money at the state level, for relief for some of these families that just can't heat their houses. There's got to be funds available, and the state's got to take measures to make sure that we have heating oil reserves to take care of these people. How do we correct this in the immediate future? That's a hard question. I think Chris Murphy may, he's saying that if you put a moratorium on the market, that it's forcing the price of oil up, and that may be a temporary solution. But the real problem is the demand. When you have something and everybody wants it, it's going to cost more.
Well, let's talk about the state level, but based on the state level, the state's gas tax is one of the highest in the nation.
They should suspend it. Right now, we should suspend that.
So you support a special session to suspend that?
I certainly would.
For whatever it's worth, you're going to go up there, and the Democratic caucus is all, let's get every penny we can out of these overburdened taxpayers.
Oh,
and the Republicans are up there trying to hold the line on taxes. So you might want to come over to the lights. Caller, you're on the air.
Yeah, unlike the previous caller who's playing trivial pursuit.
Yeah, do you have a real meaningful question?
I actually have a real question I'd like to ask.
By the way, who's the dog catcher in Sherman?
You know what?
Aha, you don't know.
I do know,
Okay.
and I don't care.
Right, all right. What's the story?
The dog catchers are not going to make my life any better.
All right, what's your question?
Mr. Tierney, basically, the state government can either hurt us or help us. They have three different things they can do. They can figure out how to bring in more money into the state, they can figure out how to spend more, or they can figure out how to tax the average taxpayer for the difference. What's your philosophy in terms of what you want to do when you get up there to solve the problem of dwindling funds at the state level? And without money, all their promises aren't worth the paper they're printed on.
Thank you.
Well, I can make one solemn promise to everybody. I won't hurt you.
Look in the camera right there, the one with the red light. Make your promise.
When I get up there, I'm going to work hard, but more than anything else, I won't hurt you. Right now we have legislation up there that's hurting this area. Yeah. And what I really don't want to happen is that we get hurt in any way. As far as raising money for the state, that's a matter of prioritizing. There's money there. It's just where it's being spent. Yeah. If someone goes up there and I'll use the word triage, let's take the most critical issues first, and that's where we should spend our dollars. Okay. And someone has to go up there and make those hard decisions. All right.
Caller, you're on the air.
Hey, Marty, it's me, Paul.
How you doing, Paul? You got a question?
Yeah, I got a question. you know, for lower income families, how do you plan on helping them as far as energy assistance is concerned?
Oh, I don't know who. This is Paul. Okay, Paul, thanks a lot. The Mets won today, didn't they?
I didn't even watch the game.
Oh, Paul, you got to get out more.
Come on.
Okay,
Hey, I'm a working man. I sleep all day, work all night.
yeah, stop it, Jeff. All right, thanks. All right, talk to you soon. Good to hear from you. What about the low-income families? What can you do to help?
There is energy assistance programs in place, but what they have to do is be beefed up. Okay. You know, we got to make sure that the reserves are there to take care of these people. And another thing is, you know, I want to slant the state income tax. I want to see the rich pay more. Now I know Republicans are going to say, well, you're talking about me, because they like to think that they're the rich. But if you're making $253,000, $400,000 a year, I'm sorry, you're going to have to pay a little more. And you know, and you should. And if you're making $20,000, you know, I want to take that state income tax and tilt it. I want the poor to get a break, and I want the rich to kick in a little bit more. Now, maybe that's a Republican a thing. I don't know.
Be defensive,
but you know, let me tell you something. Let me tell you something off the subject. I've been accused of leaving the Democratic Party.
Really?
But the truth is, the Democratic Party left me.
Wow.
They went left.
That's very Reagan-esque.
Left. They went left. You know what I'm saying? They moved left. I stayed right where I was. The same values I had my whole life have not changed. I have democratic values that I believe strongly in. It's just that the Democratic Party, especially the Beltway in the greater Danbury area, has just gone too far to the left. Okay. And I'm more of a moderate. You know, I'm going to agree with a lot of Republicans, and I'm going to agree with almost all the Democrats. But unfortunately, the inner working is moved too far to the left from me. Okay. So, you know, I'm not in the Beltway. All right. And that's no secret.
Caller, you're on the air.
Yes, Mr. Tierney, win or lose on Tuesday, do you pledge to do what you can to unite the Democratic Party to win this seat and take it away from the Republicans in November?
Yes.
So you're not going to pull a Hillary like I'm hearing rumbles now that Hillary's going to, you know, now that Florida and Michigan are going to get voted.
Come on,
she's
Marty.
Nothing but harmony going to be.
Nothing but love in the party. We're a Big Ted party.
Okay, so, by the way, the primary is next Tuesday, right? And where can people go to vote? To the normal polling places?
It'll be the normal polling places.
Okay, because generally speaking, a primary doesn't really get a lot of people out to vote, percentage-wise. Am I right?
Yeah. It's the summertime. You're probably going to get a low turnout. It's typical for primaries, for the exception of the 06 primary between Lieberman and Lamont, but that was a different situation.
Yeah, that was
This is a local race, state, Senate. You know, this is the only primary in the area.
Because, by the way, you would know better, but whoever's going to run against
Himes and Whitman?
Yeah, they're having a primary.
They're having a primary, well, if you want to call it a primary.
You think Himes is going to win that hands down?
Yeah, when you got your candidate calling Himes a Nazi, that pretty much seals their deal.
That's what that lady is calling Himes a Nazi?
Yeah, she did.
Oh, my.
Yeah, okay. But different area.
Between you and the other candidate, you're having a primary. It's a good, honest debate. We're hashing this out in the American Democratic way.
Debate? We haven't had a debate.
You haven't had
Here's the problem. The News Times offered a debate. They would sponsor it and run it.
Right.
Perkins would not return a phone call to the publisher. I just would not return. I kept calling. When's the debate? When's the debate? He finally said, I give up. He won't come to the table.
Yeah.
So I've offered him a debate anywhere, anytime, under any venue.
Yeah.
He won't come to the table. Yeah. Here's from Project Vote Smart.
Right.
And here's what they wrote about Dwayne Perkins. And here's my problem. I'm running against somebody it's like I'm running against Affirmative Action Group. Yeah. He will not come to the table. He won't debate anything.
Okay.
So, you know, it's like I'm running against a group of people and not running against a candidate.
Right.
Dwayne Perkins repeatedly refused to provide any responses to citizens on the issues through the 2008 political courage test when asked to do so by national leaders of the political parties. Prominent members of the media, Project Vote Smart President Richard Kimball, and Project Vote Smart staff. This candidate will be asked again to provide responses during the general election. Mm-hmm. He won't come to the table.
Okay.
You know, I can't get him to debate.
Let's
go ahead.
Well, let's do this. I know you have criticism on Perkins, but
I don't have criticism on him. My thing is he won't come out. He won't show his face.
All right, let's focus on two things here. You are running for the Democratic nomination to run against Mike McLaughlin. So my question, first of all, is why do you feel you're a better person for the seat than Mike McLaughlin?
Well, you know, I'll answer that question after I get by the primary. Right now, I'm concerned about the primary, not the general election.
Well, don't you feel that don't you feel that the Democratic
voters are coming out? I think the difference between Dwayne Perkins and Terry Tierney is night and day. We are just on there's nothing we agree on. He voted against education in the school system as a councilman. I'm for education. He comes out with a flyer promoting education, saying, wait, let me finish.
Okay.
He came out with one of his flyers, saying, you know, that he's all for education. He even wants to build new schools. But in today's economy and a decreasing population, why in the world would we want new schools? You want to pay for more schools that aren't needed? We may lose a congressional seat because of what's happening. That isn't the problem. That isn't the issue. The issue is the economy in this town. It's keeping people here. It's promoting business. Getting businesses to either come here or stay here. We need incentives to create an economy. We can't be out spending money. If we're going to do anything, let's get back to gifted children's in the schools. That's been taken away 16 years ago. Let's get rid of some of the mandated programs that are in the schools. We have mandated special education programs, unfunded. If the state is going to mandate, then let's get it funded.
Okay. One other quick thing I want to touch up on, because I was at the Planning Commission meeting last night and I did a presentation on the hotel that's going to be opening up that's proposed for Prindle Lane, and a lot of the residents are coming out in opposition towards it, maybe not because of the hotel per se, but because of the unnecessary traffic that's on Mill Plain Road, Route 6. You know, let me finish. Hang on one second. The Department of Transportation made an agreement with they got together with Gene Eriquist back in '96, and they proposed to expand, widen Mill Plain Road to 4 lanes. Now it's 12 years later. There's plenty of development on that road, but nothing's been done to address the roads.
And why it hasn't? Because the traffic hasn't met what they're looking for. If they build a hotel and they can create more traffic, they can meet the mandate and the road will get widened. If they don't build it and the traffic stays as it is, the state is not going to do it. Well, the answer really is mass transit. It's taking from Danbury to Brewster Line and putting it in. I'd love to see a train station out in that area, either for the mall and for all the hotels and businesses that are on the west side. That would solve a great amount of the traffic that's in this area. Plus, it create work and plus it create jobs.
Well, but let me. I don't mean to interrupt, but back in '96, you had the zoning commission approved or released, allowed for that Mill Plain Road area where you see Trader Joe's and all the development down there to be created. So in '96, there wasn't that development there, and the development increased, thus bringing in more traffic to that area. So, and so based on your theory, the development came in, the traffic increased, but the road wasn't widened. Now it's 12 years later, and it's just getting worse. And
you widen the road, it's like feeding a monster. You want more traffic, build wider roads. You want more people to go on the road, build it bigger.
So you don't agree with widening the road on routes?
I'm telling you, the answer is mass transit. It's getting the train to Brewster, putting a station in there, and getting rid of our demand. All you're doing is spending more gasoline, more energy, putting more cars on the road, and feeding the monster that we're all having, that's causing all the problems right now.
We have gone out on the street and asked some citizens of Danbury in this area some questions, and we're going to roll the videotape, and I want to get your response to some of these, the whole series of questions. So let's go to the videotape. Okay, we're here with Urban Wilkins, and Urban, what question do you have for the candidates?
Yes, I'd like to know what there can be done about the gas prices and the gas tax of the state and illegal aliens. I mean, I know everybody comes to America to make a better life for themselves, and that's fine, but, you know, let's do it the right way, you know what I'm saying? And they're driving with no license, no insurance. You hit the car and your insurance got to fix it. You know, it's things like that.
All right. Yeah. Well, thank you very much. We'll put it to the candidates. Thank you. All right. Yes, we're here with Rose. And Rose, you have a question for the candidates?
Yes, I do. I'd like to see the taxes go down on the gas and the prices of the taxes and everything. You know, it's very high. Okay. It's hard for the working people, you know. We can't keep up with everything, you know, so that's about it. Thank you.
Well, you do know that they're running for
much.
We're here with Minnie Bland, and Minnie, you have a question for the candidates?
Yes, I do. The cost of housing in this area has driven so many people out of town. What are we going to do about the housing problem?
The cost of housing, whether you're a renter or trying to buy a house?
Exactly. Renters, it's just astronomical that people can't afford to live here anymore. And it seems like it's skyrocketing even more. And most of the people that would love to live in Danbury cannot afford it anymore. You know, and even to work here, people work out of town, like from Waterbury, New Haven, Bridgeport, commutes to Danbury for a job because I guess there's no jobs down there, so they come here.
But they can't afford
to live here.
Excellent question.
You know.
Put that to our candidates. Okay, we're here with Walter, and Walter, you have some questions for the candidate.
Yes, I want to know how come the traffic here is so bad and nobody's doing nothing about it here on Main Street, and people almost getting hit. I've been to the mayor's office a few times, but it don't seem like it's doing nothing here. I don't know. It's just that I'd like to know what's going on.
Okay, that's a good question for the candidates. Okay, we're here with Jean, and Jean, you had a question for the politicians.
I wish they would do the things that they say that they're going to do when they don't do them at all.
Okay, so you're a little concerned about promising and then not following through.
That's right, not following.
Excellent. Well, that's a good question. Thank you. At a list. Let me give you the high points. Illegal aliens, should they have state driver's license? What are you going to do about runaway taxes? The cost of housing. It's a big issue especially for that one lady. And then just generally truth-telling. Candidates, you're here, you got a nice tie on, you promised the sky and the moon.
Okay.
Are you going to follow up on that?
Let's
Go ahead.
Take them one at a time. First one was driver's license.
Driver's
ID
license
cards.
for illegal
New
aliens.
New Haven instituted it. Totally against it. I cannot see Danbury becoming a sanctuary city. 100% against it. I think New Haven made a big mistake. You know, this is a federal issue. The federal government if we're going to do this, let's do it as a national program. Let's not make Danbury the only sanctuary, because they'll have flyers all over. They'll be in Ecuador, they'll be in Brazil, they'll be everywhere. Come to Danbury.
Wow.
You know, it's a sanctuary.
Does that
city.
happen with New Haven? There's actually flyers going on?
Yes, there is.
Okay.
There is.
Well.
Cost of housing. That seems to be going up.
The cost of housing is, you know, the problem with that is you don't have urban development. You know, if we have responsible urban development, you can't have affordable housing if you're going to make us spread out all over the Danbury area. Every building lot, every area that's left, let's put 2-acre zoning, 3-acre, 4-acre zoning. You're going to have nothing but cost. And not only that, it gives you traffic on the roads. It isn't the development that's wrong, it's improper development. You know, if we were to be smarter and build within the city of Danbury, where we have the facilities, we have the sewer, the water, we have the gas, and we should institute a great mass transit system, well, that would relieve a lot of traffic, which is going to answer the next question. And it also will become affordable. It could certainly be affordable if we can go up a little bit, we can expand a little bit, we put in public parking, and, you know, let's make Danbury a place where you want to live. You know, they're going in the wrong direction. You just can't keep spreading out and having big developments with $6-8 million homes, and then expect not to have traffic for people to get to all these homes, and then look for affordable housing when you used up all the land. So you got to start right in the center of town and do urban development.
So you've been opposed to the BRT tax giveaway on Crosby Street?
No, not at all. You don't have to give a developer away. A developer can make money. You don't have to give. I'm not going to give your dollars away. I would never give your money away, because, you know, if you want affordable housing and industry in this country and in this region, it's all got to fit together. You have to create good jobs. You have to have incentives to bring business into the area. You have to have affordable housing, and you have to have a good education program. There isn't anything wrong with the school buildings and the facilities. It's the curriculum that has to be changed to get better education in this town.
Last item. Well, not necessarily the last, but the last item from that list of man on the street interviews was the one lady, and I felt the passion in her voice, talking about candidates that are promising things and then they don't deliver. I mean, you're out, you're here on TV, everyone's looking for your vote, but if they do vote, and by the way, the vote is next Tuesday, You registered Democrats out there, give this man a shot. I'm telling you, I've met with him. He's had to run a business in his life. He's had to meet a payroll. He knows what it means to work with state government. I think you could do a lot worse than electing this man in the primary. In general, I want to go another way. But I'm just kidding. But what are we going to do, about the politicians where you come on, you promise the world, and then they never hear from you?
Marty, one of the first things I want to propose is that you've heard of truth in advertising?
Yeah.
I want to pass legislation where we have truth in campaigning. Okay. If you tell a lie, you're responsible for it. Okay. If you send out flyers, flyers from liars, I mean, you got to answer to this. If someone's going to call you on, you better be right. Because if you're not right, you should be penalized for it. Now, how do I get this passed by a bunch of politicians and I'm going to tell them they have to tell the truth? Well, I'll fight. What are they going to say? No, I'm a liar? Yeah. They're going to have to approve it, or else they're going to say, no, I'm not going to tell the people the truth. The trouble is exactly what that lady said, and it's a problem. Politicians have a bad name only because, they go up there and they lie and they misrepresent. I'll never do that. I'll never do that. I'm going up there for one reason. That's to help the people of the 24th District. And I know I'm the best person qualified to do that, whether it be Perkins or McLaughlin. Okay. You'll find that out, too.
Well, look.
Last question.
All right, real quick. We'll just leave it up to you. Actually, one quick question. We give so much money up to Hartford in terms of taxes.
Gotta be quick, boys.
What would you do in terms of bringing some of that money back to our area?
We pay more than any other area in the state,
right.
And I'll just fight to get our fair share back. We deserve it. We pay it. Let's get it back.
Okay.
Thank you very much for coming in.
I appreciate it.
Wish you all the luck in the world.
Thank you.
I hope you go out and vote next Tuesday, and join us again next week for Ideas at Work and Beyond. We'll have a lot more stuff. We'll see you then. Thank you.